Almost every single franchise has dedicated fans who think about the future of the characters they've fallen in love with. Sometimes we imagine what crazy storylines we'll get in Elder Scrolls 6, or we imagine what George R.R. Martin would write in Winds of Winter if he got off his ass and actually wrote words on paper. People love to daydream about their favorite characters and storylines, which is perfectly fine, but journalists have started this new journey to basically bully Nintendo into making Link gay by saying, well, a lot of people imagine him this way, so you should make it canon. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted, and of course if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or a supporter via YouTube memberships. So the new wave of bullying Nintendo was sparked with this Polygon article that recently released. I am of course using an archive because I don't want to give them my clicks. It says Link is a gay icon and Zelda fans know it. The Legend of Zelda's beloved and iconic protagonist Link is tagged in more than 17,000 pieces of fanfiction on Archive of Our Own. Among those stories, more than 300 are tagged with trans Link, and nearly 2,000 feature Link in a same-sex relationship. AO3 may not be the only metric for how many Zelda fans interpret Link as gay and or transgender, but it's one of the biggest. This is no surprise as fans have been speculating on Link's gender and sexuality since at least 2009. Now, right away, they do admit that there are, yes, 17,000 pieces of work by fans of this franchise, but at the end of the day, they are only fan fiction. And I personally have no problems with fan fiction. If you want to imagine crazy stories with your favorite characters that are not canon, that is perfectly fine, but you have to, at the end of the day, accept the fact that, yes, they are not canon, and they are just fan-made pieces of work. It says Nintendo has denied rumors that Link is queer. In a 2015 interview with Kotaku, Zelda's producer said Link is not gay, he's just an odd person. However, though he shut down speculation about Link's sexuality within the franchise canon, his statement also opened the door for further fan interpretation. So as the article even points out, Nintendo has confirmed before that Link is not queer, and it's as simple as that. Like I mentioned, it's perfectly fine if you want to write fan fictions about Link being this way, or even Zelda being a lesbian. You're allowed to reimagine the characters and their stories because none of this is canon. It even goes on to say, in art it's common to see queer-coded monsters and especially villains, particularly because of how the Hays Code prohibited depictions of homosexuality on screen. Queerness has historically been labeled a form of depravity, and queer rights continue to be under threat today as anti-LGBTQ legislation skyrocketed in 2022. Given this history and political climate, as well as the propensity for fans to hold fast to their theories regardless of canon, queer Zelda fans haven't let what he said hold them back from their own interpretations of the iconic character. This became especially apparent during the lead up to Breath of the Wild. These people are trying to bully the developers by saying, you know, queer rights are under threat today because of anti-LGBTQ legislation, and they should represent these types of people more and basically show how inclusive they are. There are plenty of things that I wish happened in novels or movie series or video game franchises, and I think that they would be better than the direction the developers are going in, but at the end of the day, I can accept that, you know, I'm not one of these writers. I am not one of these creatives, and they can go and make whatever they want. These people are just being massively disrespectful to the developers working on Zelda. It's like they're trying to scare them into making a statement about Link's sexuality and potentially changing the canon. Like, oh, just so you know, there are millions of Zelda fans out there, and a lot of them want to see Link this way. It's like they're trying to hint that they might even boycott the next game because they're not changing the content that they want. They also point out that prior to the game's release in 2017, there were a ton of rumors that said you could choose between a girl or a boy Link, though in a 2016 interview, this same Zelda producer addressed these rumors after it was confirmed that Breath of the Wild would again feature a masculine Link. They said, back during the Ocarina of Time days, I wanted Link to be gender neutral. I wanted the player to think maybe Link is a boy or a girl. If you saw Link as a guy, he'd have more of a feminine touch, or vice versa. If you related to Link as a girl, it was with more of a masculine aspect. This article also references rumors that were circulating around Breath of the Wild's release that you would be able to choose between a girl and a boy Link, and this same Zelda producer had addressed those rumors in an interview afterwards, saying that back during Ocarina of Time, he wanted Link to be gender neutral. I wanted the player to think maybe Link is a boy or a girl, and that I really wanted the designer to encompass more of a gender neutral figure, but he even goes on to admit that during the development of Twilight Princess, they went in a different direction and created a version of Link that was more masculine. He even says that while they originally envision Link to be more of a gender-neutral character, in Breath of the Wild, as far as gender goes, Link is definitely a male, but I wanted to create a character where anybody would be able to relate to the character. So Link does have a very specified gender, and he has for many, many years at this point, but individuals like this journalist just cannot accept that, and they are demanding that Nintendo do better. I mean, these people are obsessed with labels, saying Link dresses in drag and it's a big example of queerness, saying Link is androgynous. Can't Link just be Link? We don't need to label everything. If you see it that way, okay, but if the developers wanted to specifically label it, they would, and they haven't, so just leave them alone. Towards the end of the article, they also say that Nintendo will soon be releasing Tears of the Kingdom, which picks up directly after the events of Breath of the Wild. So far, footage indicates the same artistic style and open-world concept, meaning the latest version of Link gets to continue his journey, during which he's seemingly becoming even more identifiably queer. Even if Link is never canonically identified as gay or trans, fan content for The Legend of Zelda is everywhere, and queer fans especially seem to produce content in droves. For many, Link is gay or trans or both, and that's a powerful thing that can't be taken away. And yeah, I mean, the end of this article is very true. I definitely agree that ultimately, yes, if you want to see Link this way, that is perfectly fine. But to write a whole article where you're trying to guilt Nintendo into changing this character isn't going to sit well with most people. It just makes you seem so freaking entitled, like you know what's best for this character. I honestly feel like we might see some boycotts surrounding this game when it finally launches from people like this who are mad that Nintendo didn't push the limits with Link, but obviously only time will tell. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and found it important and informative, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.